Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Over coming to you with some more Steel Division Normandy 44. By the time this has come out, this game has dropped, which means hopefully as well I posted some kind of Division kind of profiles on the channel as well. If I haven't yet, please keep an eye out for them. It's my intent to do this pretty darn quickly. But you know, every now and again, 9 to 5 gets in the way. But let's focus on the game here today. Today is a 2v2 between Mazik and Cole over here in the south, and Kusiap Kilbasa 13 #POL in the north. Now, Mazak over here, excuse me, forming the Allied left, is playing the 3rd Armored. His colleague is Cole, playing the 2nd Blindé. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I'm sure there's somebody out there just cringing every single time I mention the name of this French division. Their opponents, though, Kusiap is playing the 91st Luftländer, and his ally is playing the 21st Panzers. So again, one of Rommel's old outfits. Well, I may have mentioned already, the map itself is Carpiquet, and we're going to see that kind of airfield that forms often a very big concentration point. I did recently put out a 4v4 on this map, and honestly, once you get to this huge expansive version of it, it's insane. But thankfully today we're focusing a little bit more on one isolated part of it. Factory complex down here to the south, going to form a nice defensive position if the Allies get pushed back that far. Ibid for the Germans over here for their kind of factory there, and these airplane hangars are right about there. Expect to see this area right here turn to a field of death, and a lot of fighting to take place over areas like this crossroads, although there is a ton of open ground that I imagine many players will disdain just because of how empty that could be. Now, the 91st Luftländer, I'm going to try to find that over here. So, Kusiap is generally running on the German right. Oh, no. No. We're going to see mixes all the way through. So, I thought it was going to be Kusiap. But no. Okay, so the 91st Luftländer coming out early with a fair amount of infantry, as well as a couple of 35F tanks to support it. It's a good decision there. Just one single Kubelwagen over here to the left-hand side, the German right. And Kusiap himself just coming in with a couple of squads of infantry and one MG. It'll be pretty darn good, I would say, right there. Now, the French, what are the French bringing on in? Again, the French are super strong early on. Not surprisingly, Cole is going to bring in one of his M10s to support the French as they move up this right-hand road here. My guess is trying to push for this intersection pretty easily. In the center, we'll see Jeeps supported by just a couple of half-tracks, really. Not a whole lot there. And on the Allied left, we're going to see a lot more of Mazik's light tanks shifting in as well. So very, very quickly, just by nature of the way that the squads are set up initially, the Allies will take that first advantage on the map. But this pack could be rather interesting. This thing is here. It's a Pack 40 mounted on the back of a half-track, essentially. And like I said, looking over here on this left side of the map, huge amounts of unobstructed line of sight. It's over here on the US right, the German left, that there's going to be tons and tons of CQB. You see already these scouts trying to get in and getting lots of action done here. Voltigeurs coming in as well to put fire in on all these Germans. But the 91st Luftländer is they're a parachute outfit, my friends. So that means they're going to be really fairly elite. Ammo explosion already. Was that a? Yep, that was a Faust going in on an early half track. In the meantime, while the Allies are taking their sweet time over here on their left side, leaving the infantry to suffer over here on the right, with light vehicles pretty much going down whenever the Germans can get any kind of Faust out on them. Might see a quick Faust onto this half-track, and that'd be pretty darn good. Not happening immediately. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. Fairly short range, never mind, there goes one right there, so the half-track's getting blown to pieces fairly consistently. Inspiring some mortars and another MG to come in from the Allied right, and a pack of some sort to come out on the Allied left. Germans bringing some more infantry themselves, but for the most part, I would say the Luftländer has fairly good control of this territory here. It's just really by sheer luck that the Allies don't have any contesting points over here, I would say one of these guys by itself should be able to push back a lot of this control and give it back at least to a 50-50, if not a axis advantage by of itself. 57mm moving up through the trees. Not sure why he's going up without any sort of assistance. M10 kind of hanging out over here, trying to get some line of sight, but not doing very hot either. Those guys have very, very poor optics. And infantry just melting away on the Allied right. To the German left, well, the German left is doing pretty well. Again, wow. Okay, this is a little bit annoying. This 57mm, in my mind, should not be controlling this entire area. But I don't think Kusiap really knows where his enemy is. He just knows there's a bunch of stuff. I think he's kind of assuming there's a lot of material back over here getting in and around his flank. Hence, all these rushed up troops coming to the front. But now this M10 is not going to be able to do a whole lot. His Panzerabwehrs are not really getting engaged at all, and that's probably worthwhile. Just kind of hanging back and kind of keeping an eye on things, more all things considered. Meanwhile, on the left, well, these riflemen just kind of chill and have a latte, as there is nothing to contest them. We are seeing a little bit of a shift forwards. It's trying to pick off and pick on this half-track. No, not quite. Instead, we're going to see this mortar half-track to continue to put fire down. He might be able to hit and stress out this half-track, but I'd like to think he's aiming for the 57mm more. And there we go. So this anti-tank position is going to get torn to pieces in just a few seconds as the Germans kind of rush on in. Take a look at it from their side for a moment, just to get a different kind of view of this here. It's amusing to me that everyone's clogging up what essentially is the eastern side of the map. This white arrow right here indicates north. But there's really not that much pressure over here. It seems like they go and take a position, but everyone's terrified to get caught out. Now this 57mm is going to go down in a second. You get stressed or just taken out immediately. These Jaegers are Fallschirmjägers in the first place. These guys are fairly elite troops. And I dare say that will be a dead anti-tank position soon enough. But still, okay, so the spot troop over here, I would say you should time to move him up a little bit. Keep him in no firing perhaps, but shift him up. Allow your guys to get some line of sight here. 57mm does go down, giving the advantage back to the Germans, 51% to 49%, so not a lot of change. And honestly, looking at the 91st Luftländer, the biggest, I think, hold, the biggest limit on their first kind of phase A is that their anti-tank is pretty garbage. They have these Fallschirmjäger Abwehrs, but not the strongest, all things considered. Mustang coming on in, trying to put pressure onto this Pack 40. It will do pretty well. This guy's coming out of artillery fire, machine gun fire. Unfortunately for him, he's not able to put any kind of activity back against his tormentors. He would tear every single one of these things to shreds. Now this mortar half-track shooter's been knocked out. That's unfortunate right there. And we're going to actually see German aircraft going after the Mustangs. Me-109 making a swoop on in, rockets away. Pins down pretty much the entire assault from the Allies. Mazik's troops are, I would say, in minor disarray. And this Pack 40 is gone, isn't it? Yes, it is. However, this guy is not. So I'm wondering if he's going to hang out just a little bit longer. Allies bringing in more kind of command tanks might be able to put any kind of artillery barrages down against the German position. And frankly, at this point, that's what they're going to need to do to dislodge them. Level these buildings right here. Bring in some artillery support. Do something like that. All they really have is just one French mortar, and I don't think that's really going to be enough. Yes, these M8s are very, very good. I won't lie. Lying is bad. But not the strongest starting position, I would say. All this stuff is line of sight, and that in this game, line of sight is kind of a, well, it's a very, very dangerous thing. Kubelwagen, though, bring up this Pack 37. This guy's going to get some great shots on. He can see this M8 already, and although he's taking some rounds, one round back could solve the entire problem. Shot away, and no, just barely missing. So never mind, this guy comes in and immediately gets pinned down. Air stops trooping over here. Are not particularly happy either. And it looks like, okay, a munitions Kubelwagen coming on in. So thankfully, somebody actually going and bringing in a munitions piece of equipment before Phase B. That's something I always have a problem with. People don't tend to utilize any kind of munitions support because they feel they're not going to use all their ammunition in the first 10 minutes. You want to take a look at these guys right now. These Jaegers right here are almost out of LMG ammo, and once that goes down, well, they become far less effective. And had some of these mortars survived, you would see that as well. This mortar right here, he's got 7 rounds left. He will go out of ammunition pretty darn soon. This guy, below half pretty easily. This guy, he's full strength right now, but you know what? That's not going to last him for too long. You fly through ammunition a lot quicker than you might think. Now, worth noting that the Allies are depending a lot on indirect fire. It's really kind of cool that during World War II, that was pretty much SOP for the U.S. The Brits would establish a base of fire and start advancing. The Germans would do this kind of a shock attack. The French just surrendered. But the U.S. combat doctrine was to sit tight and fix the position and then blow them to smithereens with artillery. So it ended up that Germans would just kind of do that against the Americans. Okay, we're sitting in defense right now. We're going to just force you guys to ground and then just blow you to pieces with our own artillery. And I think, there we go, some of these guys are getting resupplied right now. You see it just flying back up. You see the ammunition flying off that Kubelwagen. Also seeing a big push over here from these Kubels dropping off their own anti-tank guns. So there's a Pak 36 right here. So that guy was kind of humorously called a door knocker way back in the day. Schildgranate. Okay. Yeah. That's not a Rakettenwerfer. It might look an awful lot like one. Nope. Okay, no. This is humorously called a door knocker backed by the Germans just because it had very, very poor armor penetration capabilities. But so help me God, I can't say that phrase in German. I used to know it. But now wow. Fachwerfer has hit the field. This is basically a Doppelwerfer light. This was, if memory serves, this was a very, very quick response to the Soviets utilizing Katyushas as indirect, unaimed rocket fire. So I think they captured one of those and just kind of started mounting these racks of rockets to their own half-tracks. You can see it right there in the picture. Very, very helpful. Similarly, it might have been inspired by Calliopes as well, but I could not say 100% for sure. What I can say for sure is that it's exactly 50-50 right now. And were I this dude right here, I'd be throwing down a barrage anywhere along this line. Now, that's Kielbasa, so let's see, what can Kielbasa see? He knows a bunch of troops right here because of how minimally the front line looks. And he is on right now, so the safety is on. We'll fire enemy. Okay, cool. I've actually never seen any safeties for these things. So super, super interesting. But depressingly enough, no one knows what exists on the Allied right. Heck, they don't even know what exists on the Allied left. Both sets of players content to kind of hang out because they don't want to lose anything necessarily. But the Axis are up by 140 some odd tickets already. Not that much. I mean, Phase B has now been in effect for about a minute or so. I'm coming up on a minute and a half. P4 hitting the field, and for the Allies, we're going to see some M4A3s. That guy's pretty darn good. And here we go. Rockets away, looking for and finding this collection of material. And HE is pretty darn good, except he's aiming a little bit long at this point. He's pinned down that mortar team, luckily. And as more rockets go out, the question is he effectively able to take out forces, or is it just a suppression weapon? Well, if it was infantry, I'd be inclined to say that he could take these guys out. Taking out a Jeep, well done. Mortar team still in the fight, though, and this guy he's just lighting things off like crazy. But not quite able to take out any material in particular. And considering right now he basically just has an HE round, he's not going to do a lot of damage to those vehicles over there. But he did manage to take out one Jeep, and I guess that's a little bit of assistance for him. These rifles, in the meantime, are pinned down. If there's any kind of advance from these Germans, they might be able to get them to surrender. Of course, the recon here, that might not be the case. Mustang, in the meantime, has come on forwards and is trying to go and pressure these AT positions. We'll do pretty darn well about that. And this Pak-38, I don't think he can see a whole lot just yet. No, he can. His brethren has been taken out. But I'm pretty sure it's the Pak-36 anyway. So he's got to get forward just barely enough. And getting about halfway through this orchard, he gets some really, really great firing positions. The question is, can he see the M8 before it sees him? And the answer to that is probably not. Panzerabwehr, though, take out one of his command tanks, and this guy is not stopping. He's going to find himself blown to pieces. Yep, there we go. So that's death right there. And that's a bit unfortunate. On the left, nothing's really happening. Indeed, we're going to see... I even know the full name for that, but oh my gosh, I should know this one. Terribly sorry, guys. Don't know what this one's called off the top of my head. But obviously a P-39. Panzer 39. And with an F, that was mounted on a French chassis, but I can't think of what it was called. Obviously not a broom bar, but you know what I mean, like that kind of name. But alrighty. Alrighty. On the Allied right, more artillery is coming in, trying to put rounds on top of this Panzerabwehr. But the Fallschirmjägers are hunkering down, and they are not afraid. Now, these guys are a little bit afraid. They're getting shaken pretty hardcore, and might be forced back. But Flakverding, I believe, is coming to the front as well. I'm not sure he's really the best position for it, but he's on the road right now, which means... Excuse me, on the railroad tie. Okay, he's getting him up against those trees. So next time air power comes through, they might get blown to pieces. Also going to see a 396R, which is a pretty beastly 122mm cannon that can loft crazy amounts of rounds. Obviously, line of sight's pretty awful, but he can range out pretty well. Stowe coming on in, and we're going to see ME-109s with no real veterancy, kind of, you know, slither around here and there. Finally starting to see a push over here to the Allied left. These half-tracks are sliding forwards. I'd like to see this pack really get some damage done. So if he hangs tough, he should be able to see these half-tracks any second. In fact, you should see that right about now. He's not firing, though. Despite the fact that he should be seeing these guys and firing, he's not firing. Panzergrenadiers will be able to put rounds into these half-tracks if they continue to advance as aggressively as they are, but they're not doing that either. Either way, we'll see the Allies now finally going and enjoying a 51-52% territory control of this map. Thunderbolt's coming in. He's trying to go after this guy. If he can take him out, that'd be great, but he's not going to be able to do so. Instead, we're going to see this Panzergrenadier holding up this half-track, and indeed he completely took out the weapon on this poor boy right here. Completely depleted, they call it, but he's been destroyed, really. Now, ME-109's coming in after the Thunderbolts and might make a gun run himself. Wouldn't be a bad idea. But no, instead it's a head-to-head with another Mustang. As a mortar comes in, I would guess, over to the German left-hand side. You, my friend, should no longer... He's okay, he's shaken, but he's not 100% concerned. So these half-tracks really need to be concerned. They still have one of their Fausts left. They still have a couple of Fausts left. Which model is this, by the way? It's 60. Okay, so 60 millimeters, or, 60 meters, I meant to say, or less. And pretty much any Allied vehicle could get destroyed with rather explosive results. Now, these howitzers are deploying themselves and starting to barrage over here to the Allied right. And really, really great. Look at that. Jeez. Now, if he followed this up... Okay, this guy's been completely depleted, that's why. I thought he was going to actually have more equipment there, but I guess not. If he was throwing any kind of rounds over here, that'd be glorious. But again, I don't think he sees it, which is a problem. He sees part of it. But not quite able to get all of the damage that he wants to get. Allied lead grows a little bit more. One more round. I would be surprised if anything makes it out here alive. Again, if he fires in this area at all, those things have such incredible damaging power. 23 high explosive value. Also has some armor piercing too if guys are nice and close. I want to see something amazing though. ME-109's trailing after and picking off one of these airplanes. Another one coming down right now. Thunderbolt coming on in, throwing rounds into the P4, but he's probably going to go down on this. Two guys, yeah, I would be very surprised if he makes it out alive. And now the flak fitting as well. Yep, and there he goes. Well struck by the German air, and both of them going to make it out alive. Maybe a little bit damaged, but all things considered, a fairly successful engagement early on. Now, what is not successful is how these M4A3s are charging on in. P4s exist across the entire right flank of the Germans. Indeed, a third one's coming in right about now. All these guys have good veterancy as well. So, M8's got nothing against it. The Stuarts have nothing able to really kind of stand up to it. It's really just this M4A3, the Sherman later model. And of course, that would be good, except that he really should not be able to hold up against now a fourth one coming in as well. Oh my sweet Pippi. This munitions Kubelwagen has completely been beggared out. No more ammo there. And a couple of light vehicles kind of hanging on over here just behind the protective line of P4s. A little bit disappointing that the Germans are not making a push right now. They definitely have the advantage, I would argue. He's got to be able to see this. Kielbasa, please tell me you see these dudes. Okay, he does. He sees a lot of them, in fact. So here we go. So a nice big... Oh, armor explosion. There goes. That French mounted chassis is down. Rockets do come in, stress out the Sherman quite a bit, and that would have been the perfect time to charge forwards. Indeed, now we see finally the P4s moving on in. If he can collapse this pocket, he's going to be in great shape. All the Allied materials over here, after all. Now, this guy has not been resupplied yet, and indeed, it looks like it's more important to resupply these dudes in the back. Yeah, he's got to get a lot more munitions going on. He sees all of this. He sees all of this. Come on. You have to stop and take that dude out. Yeah. Wow, his scouts are way out here, too, so great opportunity. Let's go back to neutral for a second, and there we go. So, fuel explosion. There goes the M4. And this dude is probably going to buy it, but not before, I would say, all of this German armor begins to rotate over here to the middle of the Allied position. And should be able just to wipe it all out. Look at this. There is a jumbo coming on in, so a late model Sherman. We're just at phase C after all, so a late model Sherman might be coming on in pretty quickly. Munitions Kubelwagen, are you please going to slide down here and give that guy something? No, apparently not. Spending all these munitions back here, keeping these howitzers in play. Not 100% sure why. Now the Thunderbolt's coming on in. These guys are tank busters and doing some pretty good job at, in terms of damage here. But again, the 109s come right back in on them, and the ground variant is not being utilized here. Indeed, I think one more pass should take him out. No, he's not going to make it in time. Okay, so those guys, that particular crew is safe for now. Indeed, that Allied tank group in the middle part of the field is safe for now. Germans seizing back a little bit more of this territory, though, bringing things back to 53 to 47. Still losing out on tickets. Crew killed in the meantime, not sure by what. I think that was perhaps a mortar round. Yes, it was. So one mortar did a great shot, pinging off and taking out that half-track. But now the jumbo is shifting on forwards. And the Germans need to be pressing in. There we go. So the 39 H's are coming up. Another P4 hangs up back for the moment. I imagine Kielbasa will be fairly aggressive when he needs to have that opportunity. Alrighty though, so more artillery happening. Direct fire could be happening here as well. So yep, that is going on. Taking out this position here might be a good plan. And I still want to see why is he neglecting this entire section? It seems to be just such a blind idea to me. Could have been so great. He could be blowing apart positions. This entire area right here should be getting destroyed. It's not, but it should be. Pioneers moving on in. These guys do have what amounts to satchel charges with the kind of bundled grenades. Gebelter Landung. At very close range, these entire little fortifications can be taken out pretty easily, but they're not going to be. Now, GO, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be for ground operations or what, but neither player has any kind of artillery right now, and that's fairly lucky for the Allies, I would say. The Germans, well, the Germans have their spear point forming on up. At the same time, dear God, look at all this mess right here. So at M4A3, we have a couple of M10s coming in. Actually, several M10s. And we have a command M4, so a lot of really, really great tanks lining on up. Martyr is hanging out over here, though, too. Should be able to start putting rounds down range. And this 88 mil, oh my gosh, guys, this could be the beginning of a beautiful, beautiful thing. Pressuring back the M4A3. One more round. Take him out. He's retreating. You have this. Please. There we go. Track's broken, so that guy's pretty much dead. Yes, my continual bias for the German things will continue on this map. That is for sure. Definitely will continue in this game, so if you don't like it, I'm sorry, that's how it is. Königstieg is coming on in as well, though, so are we going to see a Panzerkeil or a Panzer Wedge kind of form up over here? I don't know. What we will see is the death of one of these Shermans here, and we're also going to see a small push by Cole's men right up the runway, but I don't think they're going to take off anywhere. I would think they're just trying to get aggressive against the P4s. Now, I do want to see that does Kielbasa see this attack? Yes, he does. It's a beautiful thing about this map over here to the left-hand side. It's like, again, this is wide open. Wide open. Which makes for a lot of great cavalry charge opportunities here. And with both guys at 50-50, whoever wins that particular engagement might honestly win the entire map. It's got to bring it down a little bit more for a bit more of a dramatic feel. And you can even put it down this far, but we won't see any kind of action. Lightnings have come in. He's not engaged. I think maybe he's dropped his bombs, but that's about it. And you, again, oh, there we go. Finally, he has his rockets coming back up. He's reloading. Oh, yes. Okay, so hopefully we'll see a barrage in this area here or this area right here. In either case, I'd be pretty happy. I have to admit it. So the Wiederfachwerfer is ready to fuck something up. F-A-C-H, by the way, not F-U-C-K. Just for the record. I know it sounds very similar. But, you know, there are children out there. So now he's rotating ever so slowly. His, wow, 15 kilometers, 53 kilometers an hour. Interesting. Range 1,000 meters. So he's got 1 kilometer range. So this guy's barely just indirect, unaimed barrages. They still could be really, really great. He's ready now, so where is that fire going to go? 1,000 meters. It's pretty darn good. Turn this on right here. So, you know, oh, jeez. There we go. So 1,000 meters is that second to last circle. You can see the smallest one. Way the heck that was down here. So this last 1,000 meters is a really, really great range. Germans are lining on up. Oh my gosh. All these strokes, all these martyrs. Did they plan this? Because this is kind of cool. I don't know if they did or not. But please, my friend, begin the assault. And here it comes. Okay, so I think he's going to start unleashing that barrage right about now. No attack beacon back here. Kusiap saying he's moving forward. Alright. Alright, everyone's kind of getting themselves ready. Aiming. Where's he aiming? Oh, jeez. This is going to be glorious. Okay, no, he is going for the center part of the town, so this entire French section is really under a lot of pressure. All those rockets. All that stress. It's like being back in school and studying for finals all over again. Pinned down. Blown to pieces. Blown to pieces pretty quickly? No, not quite. More pinned down. Okay, now there has to be infantry to follow this up, though. If you can have the infantry to follow this up, this game is yours. Heck, if you have the tanks to follow it up, this game is yours. But no, instead, we're just continuing to see all of these rockets utilized. The Me-109 not even able to go and bring his own ground attack on in. Goes down in a blaze of death. I would call it glory, but he wasn't accomplishing anything glorious, so there is that. So reloading, he's done some good damage here, but not able to fully complete his victory. Königstiger sliding over here to the left-hand side, and I'm still waiting to see this massive tank engagement. It's going to be happening pretty darn soon, and I'd have to give the immediate advantage right now to the Germans. Look at this. We have 2 Königstigers coming out, both from Kielbasa. And I think that is such a massive cannon. It's huge. Look at that thing. First of all, how beautiful is this model? Maybe not Jenny up here on top, but we're not worried about Jenny too much. All the tanks are formed up in echelon, and I think we're going to see the charge pretty darn soon. Of course, I've been saying that for quite a bit of time now, too, so if you do, please forgive me. M10 trying to put rounds over into this Königstiger. Königstiger should fire back and blow it to pieces. No, he's going to fall back instead. That's a good decision right there. 76mm, though, he's got a great position as these tanks move on forward. And here come the Germans. Oh, okay, so a TOT barrage coming on in, and I think that's going to be just enough to catch the Martyrs as they're moving through the beaten zone. So this is going to suck. The Germans are going to lose a lot of their tank destroyers. Me-109's coming on in. Are they going to make a ground run? Or no, they're just protecting from the air. I don't know. Oh, dear God. Yeah, we're going to lose a martyr or two. Here it comes. They're going to be martyred, if you know what I mean. But, so, Stress City. A Flak Idiot is kind of trundling on forwards as well. He's already got a great firing position. I'm surprised he's not setting up right now. But okay, while this engagement over here to the other side continues unabated. Indeed, we even are seeing some of these lighter vehicles going down. Yikes! Okay, we're really gonna get going on this one. This is kind of fun. All right, Stuarts marching on in basically to their deaths. M4's there as well, as is the upgun Shermans. As the 109s trundle on through. Come on, this is actually why you play this game. This is just kind of so cool. 76mm pinned down already. I wouldn't be surprised to see this gun position being blown apart. One or two more rounds, I imagine. Maybe a salvo or two. There we go. They're gone. There's still another one over here to the eastern side. Is it not? No, he's been taken out. Interesting. Interesting. TOT barrage coming on in. Another bombs, though, coming down and might be able to take out. No, not enough to take them out. The Germans are charging. One of the Königstigers is down. An ammo explosion took it out. 53% to 47. M10s sitting over here, and more our tanks just keep coming on in. Now, if its next TOT does what it needs to, we could see a collapse of the German attack. But for the moment, that is not going on. Another Königstiger goes down. Wow. AT position after AT position is getting hit. But the German attack is beginning to stall, I would argue. Me-109 is charging on in after that lightning. Trying to make sure that nothing like that ever happens again. Now these guys do have, okay, just MGs on their wings. I kind of thought they were going to have more considerable firepower, but I guess not. Focke-Wulf coming in after this lightning. His lightning's not going to get a gun run at all. Be lucky he makes it out alive. He makes it out alive. Okay, very lucky there. Now these tanks, which are fairly close to their brethren, I mean, at 400 meters, maybe 600 meters at the most, we're going to see a lot of this action. The Stokes are starting to fall apart. Not surprising there. And another barrage coming, 30 seconds to do that, and the German attack is collapsed. A fuel explosion on their scouts. They're going to fall back in kind of disarray here. Without pretty much all of their heavy tanks. They have a couple of Martyrs left. They have a Königstiger here. But other than that, it's not been pretty. Gun run, charging into the fray and falling back because it's going to get wrecked otherwise. More infantry moving in over an eastern flank, and the Germans are threatening to go and take the ticket lead, but it's going to be a little bit longer time yet. Königstiger taking some damage, transmission damaged on him. He falls back. He's dead. He ain't making it back alive, my friends. And despite the fact that their vehicles are much, much lighter, the Allies managed to take that tank engagement. P4's over here kind of hanging out. Another Koenigsegger just hanging out as well. Now, this Flak 88, you've got 1,000 meters, I would say, of range, I'm pretty sure. No, 1,200, okay. So, now is the time to start doing all that crazy amounts of damage. Bounces off that one piece. Ammo explosion on the half-track. Okay, so either this guy's going to be a god, or he's going to get blown apart. And right now, being pinned down, that might be the answer right there. More infantry coming on in. These howitzers are firing off to one side. And this lightning is retreating, is he not? No, he's not retreating yet, but he probably should. He's got rockets, but I don't know. Okay, he's not even engaging. Okay, never mind. 88 mils down. And there's 7 minutes left to go. It's 50-50 yet again. Crew killed on the Martyr, though. That's going to slide it back into the American and French favor pretty easily, I'd imagine. Alrighty, though. And now this M8 is putting rounds out into this hunkering down scouts. Bailed out squad. Now, where is the next rocket barrage happening? This could be amazing, or it could suck. The Allied tank force is charging on in because it can. One of those tanks over here got taken out. I'm not sure by what, from the M10? I'm very surprised by that. That thing is really not that great at armor piercing. But that's what's happening, I suppose. Barrages continue out of those howitzers, and not enough to take out these half-tracks nor the accompanying tanks. A little bit shocking there. But it is still 51-49 in favor of the Allies. And this tank corps is just getting terrifying now. With half-tracks in support and some great optics from these M8s. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and an anti-tank gun. Yeah, this is a rush that I don't think the Germans can stop. P4's coming on in, Koenigsegger's coming on in, but there's no anti-tank guns to stop them. Wow. Bombs away, but will it even do anything? I don't think so. And it takes out a half-track, big deal. Driver wounded on the Koenigsegger. Lightning comes in as well to drop rounds onto this Opel Blitz. Takes that out. And that's a big loss at this point as well. So while the howitzer's dropping rounds in the middle of this charging armored force, it still means that these guys are not paying attention over here to this side. And again, this guy's been having full rockets for such an incredibly long amount of time. He should be throwing rockets everywhere. Blow down this forest. Blow down this area here. Heck, target back here. You got to be able to see something. The entire map is not on this side over here. Now, one or two Allied planes are going down here. In fact, every single time that you see one, they are going down. Strug and Koenigsegger are starting to put fires into these M4s. Strug goes down, Koenigsegger fires back and takes out that Sherman. I get the feeling it's going to be a very, very close end to this game. Ammo explosion on the M8. I would love to see some unaimed rocket fire again. Just break this up a little bit more. Now, one thing I do kind of wish as well is I wish there were some minefields of some sort on this map, but that would really kind of skew the way that you can be deploying troops all together. And I don't know if that's ever going to be an activity. I mean, think about it. Mines take a heck of a lot longer than a couple minutes to place. But a minor victory seems imminent for the Allies. It could change at the drop of a hat, though. Howitzer rounds to continue to fall on the retreating men here. Opel Blitzers are coming forward. My guess is those are 88s that will form the basis of an attempted push by what remains of Kielbasa's armored division. So guys, one thing to remember for yourselves out there is recall exactly what Rommel did in North Africa. Use your AT guns against his tanks and use your tanks against his infantry to kind of shatter the unit cohesion. What's happening right now is we're not seeing the most effective usage of either armed force. Unaimed rocket fire again, pinning down and dismaying a lot of this French equipment But Cole's troops really should have been put to flight a long time ago. Never mind, Pack 40's out here, going to be able to keep an eye on things. At least for right now. Airstock's trooping could be charging on in, but might not want to. There's a lot of material over here, though, I will say. A lot of material. Crew killed. Koenigsegg just catches out this mortar half-track. Not sure what he was thinking here. It's a 50-50 take. The Germans have to go and get a +2 if they're going to find this out, and I don't think they're going to be able to do so. Weapon damage, just the armor logger over here just kind of hangs on out. Yeah, look at this. Look at this stuff. And there's all going to be a charge one more time. It's a charge of the light brigade, or maybe the more heavy armor brigade. Crew kill in the Stug. Koenigsegg is going to get pulled apart in a second, and this Focke-Wulf is probably going to go down. Look at all that machine gun fire. It's intense. That kind of ground attack I would never want to engage against. Good gosh. This Pack 40 should be able to put a round or two into an attacking unit. This M10 getting taken out. That Pack 40 falling down, and I think that's going to be pretty much it for this German army. This massive armored core drawing the German eye, I think, unnecessarily. As strong as it is, and indeed you can see how strong it is by just all the fire that the anti-tank positions are taking. He focused way too much on that. He could have clogged up this entire area with infantry-based AT, and he's not doing it. More bombs. Blows that paint off many of these guys. Encourages nearly all of them to fall back. Excuse me. But not enough. It is not enough. It was kind of fun for me to see the Koenigsegg fire at these retreating tanks all over the place. There we go. Engine destroyed right there. This Panzer IV could have been charging on in as well. He's not doing so, and that is a bit of a shock to me. But the Koenigsegg is just getting his last pound of flesh here. Looks like it's going to be an Allied victory by the span of only about 300 tickets. This is the first time I've ever seen an entire game be under 4 digits. We're going to make a run over here the eastern side. Way too late, though. Nope, he's even going to fall back. Between the Bofors and all the machine gun fire, I'd be surprised if he makes it alive. And indeed, we will see Spitfires coming on in after this poor ground attack plane. Buying it. Shooter knocked out over here, and the Koenigsegg, as wonderful as it is, that little anti-tank and tank action, which is a lot of fun to watch. Hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have. After 40 minutes, yes, it's going to be the Allies winning by this very, very slim margin of 320 some odd tickets. And looking very, very quickly at the kills, who's the best kill over here for the 3rd Armor? Well, 57mm, this M4 was pretty darn good as well. Now for losses. Taking a lot of losses really from that ranged material. But a surprisingly low kill game. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a lot of fun for me to cast these. I love casting these. Actually, I love this game a lot. Anybody out there who wants to play with me, hit me up on Steam. I'm more than happy to do so. And for right now, that's going to be it for me. So you all have a great day. This is Connorworks signing off. Take it easy.